y'all gonna stop disrespecting my uncle, okay? Hey y'all, it's your girl Blurdy back again with another video. However, it's not a trailer reaction. I'm here to give my thoughts on Spider-Man Brand New Day. So, I know, the movie came out a couple weeks ago. I'm delayed in going to see it, but I literally just got back from the theater and I was like, let me just get my thoughts out now. And hopefully have some conversations. Usually I'm better with like talking to other people, like to really hash out my thoughts, but let's try it out. Let's see. Let me at least give out some of my thoughts, and then I would really love it if you all would go into the comments just so we could have like a little bit of a conversation about it. And as I've mentioned before, I can be a little critical, but I'm not going to be like too critical. There were some things that I really did like about the movie, and then there were some other things that I was like, interesting. So obviously, if you did not know yet, you know now. This is going to be a video full of spoilers. So spoiler warning right now, if you have not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, click off. And then after you've seen it, click back on so that you can watch and listen to the review and let me know your thoughts. So one thing, or at least just to start off, something I want to say is RIP Aunt May. I know I said that in some of the trailer reactions, but I'm going to say it again here. Every time there were moments with Aunt May in the film, I immediately felt myself getting emotional all over again. Like I said before, No Way Home was a really crazy ass movie. I got my own critiques with that film, but at the end of the day, like Aunt May died and we didn't even have an Uncle Ben. So it's like we put all the love of Uncle Ben and Aunt May into one person. She was younger, she was, vibrant. And like for her to just go out that way just sucks, And then on top of that, it's like he loses his friends. And one thing they're going to do in a Spider-Man movie is make him experience some crazy ass loss. So I just at least want to say RIP to Aunt May, pay my respects to her. First, I guess just to I won't give like a full recap of the film, but, obviously, Brand New Day is coming off the coattails of Spider-Man No Way Home. In Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter basically has to go to Doctor Strange to ask him if he can help him, make certain people not know who he is or something along those lines. And then ultimately it spirals out of control. And before you know it, it ultimately leads to the people who are closest to Peter to not know who he is. So that whole idea of with great power comes great responsibility. So this idea that, yes, you had this idea and thought that you could just control it and contain it, but ultimately it goes off the rails and leads you to lose those who you love dearest, including his best friend Ned and his girlfriend MJ, played by Zendaya, his Tom Holland's real wife. Yep, wife. So anyways, coming off of that, something that I found interesting was that it fast forwarded a lot because it's, from my understanding and like from what I'm remembering from the film, basically Ned and MJ forget who he is, right? The end of No Way Home is, it starts off with, or it ends, I should say, with Peter going to the coffee shop where MJ used to work, and he wrote out a letter, a note, which I had predictions about that letter. But he has the letter in hand, and he plans on telling her, who she is to him and all this stuff. And then he chokes and he doesn't say anything and like never tells her. And then so Ned and MJ go to MIT, complete their full 4 years of education at MIT, and then end up moving back to New York and still like maintain the same level of friendship that they had in high school and live together as roommates, which, all very convenient, but, it's Marvel. I get it. Whatever. I'm not even gonna like nitpick stuff like that. Like whatever. Um, and so, ultimately Peter's just been living a life alone. For 4 years. That's the part I was like, wait, they finished MIT? All that time went by? And so now I'm like, no, because all this is after Endgame. Wasn't No Way Home also after Endgame? It had to have been. So this is another 4 years. So I guess in essence, they're supposed to be like in their early 20s now, like they're no longer high school students. But it's just that's a lot of time. I didn't expect there to be that much time in between No Way Home and Brand New Day. I was thinking it was maybe like a year. So I thought that was interesting. So anyway, so pretty much that's kind of where the story starts. It starts with, what is Peter doing 4 years after No Way Home? And he is very much so fully living the Spider-Man life. Really, like there is no Peter Parker at all. Nobody even knows who that is, right? So it's fully a Spider-Man life, and he's very much so connected to NYPD. He's helping. I forget the detective's name. I guess like Belfield or Beth. I forget her name. I'm so sorry. But he's on the phone with her all the time. I guess she never tried tracking him down or figuring out his identity. I don't know. So that's just an established relationship. We're just jumping right into the world. And then some really interesting stuff happens. Now, this is where, I've been trying so hard to avoid spoilers for this exact reason. Because I knew who was like the secret character of the movie just based off of post one post on Instagram that said something along the lines of like all the different Jean Greys that we have. And so they showed like, the early 2000s Jean Grey. Then we get our Sansa Jean Grey from like, X-Men, like Dark Phoenix and why can't I think of like X-Men Apocalypse and like that reboot, we get her, and now we get, I need to know these actresses' names. And then we get the young actress who was in Stranger Things. And so when I literally like swiped so fast because I was like, no, damn, I was pissed. I was like, damn, I was about to go into that movie blind and now I'm not. Damn it. So anyway, but to be honest, the way that her character was first introduced, I didn't even think it was Jean Grey. I thought it was like freaking Wanda or something, or like a witch. I guess it could have been it was something all along in WandaVision. Whoever help me out, put it in the comments. I'm like blanking right now, but Agatha? It was Agatha all along, the other witch, the one who Wanda fought. So anyway, I'm just like, this is Jean Grey? And I'm like, why is Jean Grey a kid? And why is, like, I have so many questions, but I'm like, just watch it. Just watch the movie. Just watch and see where the heck this thing is going. But the way that, like, people were, like, possessed and, like, the bouncing from one person to the next. And then, Peter is able to use like his technology, which I assume is from Tony Stark, use that technology to be able to map the patterns of like the distance in which, whoever the possession is able to bounce to the next host, basically. So I think, and clearly, I guess they went with that to kind of throw off some of the fans on like who it was. But then again, I'm just upset that like, she was at the premieres and stuff, and like you can have an idea of what character she's going to play and all that stuff. And then I saw the freaking spoiler. But either way, I just thought that was a bit strange that was her power. And also that she was, I think what ultimately I felt like was a little strange. And so I'm just going to kind of jump into like some of the things that were a little odd to me, right? So she's trying to find out what this VMAX means and is on a quest to find that. And obviously the introduction to her character is pretty cool. It's scary. You don't think it's a telepath. You think it's like some sort of like witch or something who's just, again, like finding a host and just taking them over. But then you ultimately find out is Jean Grey, and she's trying to get into this place called Damage Control because she's looking for something, and she's looking for this thing called VMAX. And, Black Widow's sister is the one who's like, oh, I think she's looking for VMAX or something. And I was like, well, how do you know? And what's up with this pool and hot tub? And like, why? Ugh. I just, whatever. I'm going to say this. I'm going to just make a side note real quick. I'm going to say this now. In Doomsday, they better have superpowered beings. I've said this already, but I'm going to say it again, and I'm probably going to say it again after this. They better have superpowered beings. There is no way, and I mean no way, that the Thunderbolts are about to be the ones who fight up against freaking Victor Von Doom. Okay? So whatever they about to do, I figure that's why they had, Peter like evolve into this more super powered Spider-Man who can now shoot webs out of his wrist. That was pretty cool. But yeah, like, no way we're going to have the freaking Thunderbolts doing anything. I think that's why they're starting to introduce the mutants, because we already know it's going to need to be the mutants. And then I guess they haven't shown anything regarding Wanda, but I would assume Wanda's also going to have to be involved in it. But either way, so Jean Grey is trying to get into Damage Control, and she has some pretty cool ways of doing that, bro. I'm not gonna lie. But my biggest critique when she was initially trying to get in there is that she only bounced around some people and then stopped. Like, why didn't she fully infiltrate Damage Control? What was in Damage Control that would have stopped her from being able to do that? Because that universal inhibitor hadn't been created yet, right? So like, why didn't she continue bouncing around to people to ultimately get to someone who is close to the director of Damage Control, or just go into his brain? Like, what stopped her from doing that? So I thought that was really strange, that she only got to a certain point and then she started giving Peter a hard time and like taking over MJ and all this stuff. Strange, really strange. Now, basically, I feel like I've gotten to the point where I've led us to this conflict. Peter, he doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have any people. He's solely living this Spider-Man life. He's because of the fact that his friends moved back in to New York, and he is, I guess, trying to figure out what to do there. Like, he can't help himself. He goes to their housewarming. He just wants to see what their life is like, right? He ends up seeing MJ kiss her boyfriend, her other boyfriend. We don't even get his name, but the other boyfriend. And then Peter basically is super emotional and goes into this, what they call sensory overload, which leads to him start going into this like spider metamorphosis thing, or like arachnid metamorphosis. I don't even know, but that is what ultimately leads to like his eyes going completely black and the webs coming out of his actual wrists and all that. So that's why he develops this. That's where he goes and finds Banner to try and understand a bit more about this like universal inhibitor that ultimately kind of reduces the arachnid hormones that are starting to increase in his body, so that he can like stabilize himself, because he realizes that when he has those heightened arachnid hormones, he's more aggressive. That's I feel like a pretty good sum up of some of the plot that's going on in the film. So now just a bit of my thoughts on it. So some of the things that I liked in the film, I would say I like the fight sequences. those, I call them the red ninjas in my first trailer reaction because I didn't know who they were. I don't remember them from Daredevil, but I saw that they were like in the Daredevil comics and maybe they were in the Daredevil show at some point. I don't know, but they were dope. It was reminding me of I think it's what called Crouching Tiger. It was reminding me of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The way that they were like jumping on top of each other and like extending their arms with the swords, and super dope, super dope. I am very happy that they brought in actual martial artists who know what the heck they're doing. They were dope. I'd be interested to see how like that world potentially collides. Doomsday is going to be nuts, but like, I hope that they come back in Doomsday. They're called the Hand. I hope they come back and I'm assuming Damage Control is going to be dismantled after this film. And so maybe they find a home in that world where Shang-Chi, I forget, like, it reminded me of like the spirit world, like Avatar: The Last Airbender spirit world. It reminded me of that. So maybe they'll go there. So yeah, that fight scene. The other fight scene I really liked was with Hulk. First of all, can we just have a moment? Can we just have a moment to discuss how Hulk was unleashed again? Like, no more Professor Hulk. No more none of that. None of that. Give me Hulk. Give me the gangster that we got in the first freaking Avengers movie. Are you kidding me? Let's go, man. Banner like, oh no, oh no, oh yes. I was in the theater like, yeah. And when he got fully realized it was big as shit, I was like, yes. I was so hyped, bro. Are you serious? And he just smashing Peter's head into walls and he's just doing all that. And like when he saw his reflection and it made him like disappointed, I was like, no, keep going. But it's fine. That I feel still tracks with who Hulk is. Like there is still Bruce somewhere in there. But I just felt like yes, like the moment that Banner was like, wait, she did something in my brain, something scrambled up. And I was like, what's scrambled up? I was like, are we gonna get the Hulk? Are we gonna get the Hulk? So I was hyped. That fight scene, dope. I was like genuinely like kind of scared for Peter. Like obviously I know nothing's gonna happen to him, but I was a little nervous for him. I also really liked Frank Castle. I love The Punisher. I'm a big Punisher fan. I watched all episodes, every season of The Punisher with Jon Bernthal. I like him. And I thought he was great. I love the relationship between him and Peter. I thought it was dope. So no complaints there. I also want to say for the record, I did predict that MJ was going to find the note somewhere and read it and confront him. And the moment that I saw that he literally was asleep with the note in his hand, scrambling, on the computer and then just leaves the note recklessly on the table. We all guessed that. I could have put money on that. Are you kidding me? I mean, I think it was fine. We knew that she was going to find out. Like we knew, like there's no way. But it was just a matter of like, how was she going to find out? And of course it was going to be something like that. The post-credit scene, so I liked it. Post-credit scenes, I tend to get excited. So the fact that there's some other Spider-Man, a bunch of people in the theater were like, Miles Morales? Is it Miles Morales? I mean, I guess it could be Miles. It could be Toby. It could be Andrew. It could be somebody else. I mean, it is all a whole multiverse situation. Are they trying to bridge the gap between this Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse? Like, how is that? I don't know. Interesting stuff there. So that's just a prediction of mine. Now, some of the things that I'd say I didn't like, or I guess confused me or concerned me, I'd say. So initially I had written down that Jean has a sister. Like, I didn't know Jean had a sister. I actually don't really think I know Jean's backstory, if I'm being honest, because I've always only ever known Jean to be in Xavier's school. Like I don't think I ever knew Jean's backstory. I'm like, she has a sister and her sister has the same abilities as her and her mom abandoned her. When I just looked it up a little bit, it seems like they took some liberties because it seems like her sister was actually human. It seems like her parents were actually fine and also human and accepting of her, and not like just like a mother who just abandoned her 2 daughters because they're mutants. But I guess her entire family was killed due to anti-mutant fanatics. That's what I learned. So okay, Jean has a sister. But also, is it not a little strange that like Jean is a kid, like younger than Peter in this world? I think it's just like the amount of reboots that we've had, and the fact that they're like, they finally got the rights to the X-Men, but at the same time, it's just like, so we're making them kids? I mean, I guess that they probably feel like that's the only way that they can go about it, to like introduce this whole world of other characters. I don't know. It's just annoying. It's annoying. But because there's a multiverse world, I guess we could still get everybody, right? Like the fact that we even have Channing Tatum's Gambit, I feel like that lets us know that, you know, they can pull from all the different worlds. We had Hugh Jackman as Wolverine already, with Deadpool. But that's also Deadpool, so that's not Marvel Studios. But they're starting to bridge. They're starting to, or maybe Deadpool is Marvel Studio. Why am I confusing myself now? Is Deadpool Sony or Marvel Studios? Where are they? So one of my biggest critiques is, where the heck were his Spidey senses? Like the whole freaking movie. The whole movie. And every time, oh, you still haven't picked up on when I'm around. He should. Since when his Spidey senses don't freaking work? I mean, I know there's the whole arachnid, the inhibitor at a certain point, but all the other points, where the heck was his Spidey senses? I thought that was so strange. How are people sneaking up on him? Like, that was never something that evolved with this new power. He always had Spidey senses. So like, where were they? That was strange to me. Also, like, where is Xavier? I don't know a world with Jean Grey without Xavier in it. And so I'm prediction. I'm assuming that now with what she did, where she was able to like freeze everybody within that 1 mile parameter of that island that damage control was at, that like now Xavier is gonna like be like, what was that? Or, you know, oh, I sensed her, I sensed you, or something like that. But to me, it's like Xavier should have. All I know is, let me tell you something. What they not going to do ever again is disrespect my boy Patrick Stewart, who plays Xavier, because they did it. And don't think I forgot, because y'all did it again in the Wanda movie. Okay. That like horror movie, whatever thing that was, where Wanda killed Professor X again. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all gonna stop disrespecting my uncle, okay? Y'all gonna stop disrespecting him. Thank you very much. Y'all did it in X-Men Last Stand. Crazy business. Y'all did it again. I can't even remember what the heck, the WandaVision, not WandaVision, but the Wanda movie. Y'all not about to do it again, because I know Patrick Stewart is gonna be in Doomsday. Put some respect on his name. Thank you. Moving on. So a few things, they're minor. Overall, I just feel like damage control was annoying. Where do they come from? Who are they? And why was that guy trying to figure out how to control her power? Like, and ultimately killed her sister, like a kid? Like, what? What in the William Stryker? Like, it was just strange. He was giving me like knockoff William Stryker. So that was, I didn't like that. Then I just want to know, does Peter have super healing? Like, he got shot in the back, bro. Blood coming out. Like, how did Frank Castle make it to that island in time and then bring Peter to the hospital? They were able to perform surgery on him in time? Like, that just, I don't know. I know I'm reading too much into it, but unless he has super healing. I mean, I don't feel like I've ever known Spider-Man to get shot or like stabbed, or like he gets cut and he's bleeding, like he gets punched in the mouth, he's bleeding, so like he's not like Wolverine. Like I don't know, I'm just confused. Like, he got shot in the back by a freaking whatever type of gun Frank Castle had. Like, what? So anyway, I'll just leave that there. I was a little confused how Ned remember, like muscle memory. How did Ned remember that handshake? Interesting. But overall, if there's anything that I would have changed in the film, I think I would have removed that sequence with Jean Grey talking to Aunt May. I thought that was strange. I thought that was real strange. And I felt like it was kind of overkill. Like, it was probably just a way for us to get an opportunity to see Aunt May, but I just don't see how, out of all the minds that Jean was in, that was the thing that like resonated with her the most. And on top of that, why couldn't she get into Peter's mind? Like, once I learned that it was Jean Grey, then I started asking, well, what is it about Peter's mind that makes him impervious from a telepath to be able to go into his mind? Strange. And they don't explain that. So that's weird to me. So overall, those are some of my thoughts. I think overall, I would give this film about a 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8 if I'm being generous, but I think I'm going to land on a 7.5. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. I'm going to rewatch that Hulk scene. I could probably rewatch that a few times. That was so, the fight sequences, I'm going to have to watch those again because they were dope. But again, I do feel like there were some elements of this film similar to No Way Home and similar to most Marvel movies where they do certain things in the film that don't quite make sense in order for them to get to the next plot point. Sometimes that's just frustrating, but either way, I liked it. Would I rewatch it? I'd rewatch certain parts of it. I don't know if I need to rewatch the whole film in its entirety. I am curious to see how Spider-Man, Hulk, Jean Grey, The Hand, Frank Castle, Thunderbolts are all incorporated into Doomsday. So we'll see. So anyway, educate me. I know there were some things I might have said that need some correcting or some additional context. So y'all have been great with that. You've been teaching me a lot already, which I love. I'm going to eventually have to go live or something because I need like the interaction for things like this. But I appreciate y'all for watching. Please like it. Please comment. Give me a subscribe. If you watch it, subscribe. That helps a lot, especially as we, again, all roads lead to Doomsday. Okay. And I said Doomsday because we also getting ready for Doom. Thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your support. And until next time, bye.